I am back. I didn't do a live stream yesterday, but back today. Little hot, so I know I'm gonna get jokes about that. You would think this fall should be having more fall like weather, but Maryland fall in Maryland is not consistent. It'll be hot for a week, cold another week, back to hot again, and then the days will flip flop. Um, but that's why I brought some ice water with me. So the last time I did a stream, I was streaming while the vice presidential debates were on, and I really didn't care much about the presidential debates. One, they're boring. Two, neither one of those guys were charismatic. Three, it doesn't matter what the vice presidents think because they don't control anything other than the Senate if they become vice president. So, not really important. Didn't care. I watched, but didn't really watch because I was busy doing this. But then the next day, I looked at some of the highlights, and it seemed like it was actually a civilized debate, which makes it even more boring. But it was good, I guess, to show that these two gentlemen could um, have a verbal discourse that was amicable. Um, and surprisingly, most news outlets said that JD Vance won. So curious if you guys agree, disagree. But overall, the general topic today is: are we just tired of politics now? Now that we're in August? I mean, sorry, now that we are in October. Correction. We are now into the third gear of the election. Are we just tired out? Are we tired about this? Are we done? Do we not care anymore? Are we apathetic? We're just tired of seeing the ads, the debates, the news predictions, the surveys and polls, hearing people cuss each other out about politics. Are we tired of it or not? JU says the devil has come to collect the diddler. Well, I don't know your issue, JU, but there's been so many um, people in this on this earth that's done such horrible things that if he's coming to collect Puffy, he better come and collect about a million other people. So I could care less. That's another tired discussion as well as the whole Diddy thing. We'll get to that on another day. SK says JD lied through his teeth. So did Waltz. As far as I'm concerned, Waltz has displayed stolen valor in some of the claims that he made. So I don't care. Um, Daveza says Waltz definitely didn't win. He looks like a Timu Bernie Sanders. Like I just can't take him seriously. um, Buddha Webb says I'm so tired of political games. I feel you. Like up until this election cycle, I was completely apathetic about politics. I still am, but I am voting in a way that shows my dissatisfaction with living in a blue state and living amongst a bunch of people who vote against their better interests, which is basically black people. And I'm definitely disliking most of the black Democratic leaders, from people like dumbass Eric Adams to that retarded mayor Tiffany Henyard over in Dalton, Illinois, to that dumbass Reverend Kleinburn and so many others. Marilyn Mosby, the state's attorney here in Baltimore, former state's attorney. Um, the dumbass mayor in Baltimore, Brandon, whatever, who doesn't want to prosecute kids that go around committing major felonies, to our dumbass governor of Maryland, who's also guilty of stolen valor and even lied that he was from Baltimore when the dude is from New York City and was born in the DC suburbs. But whatever. I'm just so tired of it. So I'm voting against blue, no matter who, just as my own sort of like political therapy. Cyril AK says, I'm your first like, don't know who you are and are yet. Um, oh, sorry. Don't know who you are. YouTube, show me your live. I'm from Germany. Wish you all the best, bro. Thank you, Cyril. Guten Tag, by the way. Davesa says, I think the debate was refreshing. No arguing, no insults, and the media exposed itself. I feel refreshed. Yeah, except the thing is, since they come on like at 9 p.m., I kind of want some rancor because it is refreshing to see the two guys get along in a gentlemanly fashion, but it's also very boring because neither one of them are particularly charismatic. What's up, Naya? Let me switch my filter to all so I can catch everything here. Bill Cypher says, yo, I'm suspended. I'm scared what to do. Yeah, I don't really talk to kids, so that's on you. If you're already suspended, there's nothing you can do. Do better. Neha says, hello, I'm from India. What's up, Neha? Jacksonville Kid says 50 Cent supposedly making a documentary called Did He Do It? It's not supposedly. He's already sold the rights of it to Netflix. And it should be on there shortly. It'll be the third documentary, so I'm kind of tired of it already. Tubi did one already, and Hulu is doing one. They've already dropped one episode on Hulu for their docu series on Diddy. The one Tubi did was just one movie, like documentary slash movie, and the one Diddy, the 150 is doing on Netflix is also going to be a docu series, which will probably be the best out of the three. Suleiman says hi to Neha. Eric the actor says, "Do you date trans women?" So he earned himself a 24-hour timeout. Jacksonville Kid says Diddy posted a picture on Instagram with him on a bike in South Florida one day, and 50 Cent posted Diddy is smiling because there ain't no seat on that bike. Yeah, that was funny, but not the topic. We're not talking about Diddy today. I've talked about Diddy in several other live streams. Where were you guys then? Not so anything that has nothing to do with the current topic, if it's not dropped in the form of a super chat or you a super sticker, then I will be gone. Anyone who comes in here with racist stuff is automatically banned. And there, here we go. So we're already at the, I've already caught up. Good. So again, guys, this topic is about whether people are already exhausted with the election cycle. America needs to change that. Like most other countries, their election cycle is much shorter. Ours is like almost eternal. Like as soon as the presidential election cycle stops, then there starts speculation over the next election 4 years hints. And it's like, can y'all give it a rest? Like, and then when the election cycle does start, it's for an entire year. Like, just let it be like 2 months. That's all we need of an election cycle. 2 months. We don't need an election cycle for an entire year. Just give us 2 months. And when it's done, then we don't think about it again until the next 4 years. But the news will have you talking about election cycles ad nauseum. Like they talk about the election cycle for an entire year. Then when it ends, they start speculating over the prospects of the next one. It's exhausting. Thomas says, Timothy Riley says, told you no one messes with Batman, just trolling though. I do. So someone does. Logically, some is at least one. If there's at least one person who is myself, then someone messes with Batman. And being that he's the most popular superhero character in the world, a lot of people rock with him. Next would be Spider Man. He's the second most popular character globally. And then the third one is Superman, obviously. I know it's actually a shame that he's not number one, but I've already talked about that in the previous stream where a lot of people are just pretty jaded on superheroes, so they don't like someone who appears to be all good, as if that's a character flaw to be a genuinely good person through and through. Like that's just crazy. But back to the intended topic. So, like I said, the last stream I did the other day, the VP debates was on. It just seemed boring. I have no interest in Vance. I have no interest in Waltz. They got on well. They have little charisma. Well, Vance has a bit charisma, and Waltz has self-styled himself as America's uncle. Yeah, no thanks. Um, neither, neither like neither of them would be particularly um, worth looking at if it weren't for the candidates to which they are attached. So, someone told me, man, you should, like they told me in a comment yesterday, hey, the debates actually went pretty well. You should actually rewatch it and check it out. And I was like, yeah, probably not. I might just watch some more of the highlights. And that's what I did. So I caught highlights from uh, Rising the Hill, the Rising segment of the Hill, and the Daily Show. And I got, well, I think those were pretty much it. I think I saw some other stuff elsewhere, but that was the majority of it. And uh, from what I gathered from most of the news outlets, most of them saw JD Vance as winning that debate. Other than Joy Reid, who had a tortured argument for why she thought Waltz actually won, but almost everyone else said that Vance did win it. Although some of them think that he won it through less than rational means, but whatever. The consensus is that he won. What I'm interested in, what I'll be way more interested in for a debate would be showing all the third party and independent candidates having a debate amongst themselves as they did in the previous election. I would like to see that because they would be much more interesting to learn their views on things. But the mainstream media has a vested interest in keeping this as a corporate duopoly amongst the Dems and the GOP. They want you to think of nothing other than the Crips and the Bloods. So No, no, says I feel like we are in the twilight zone. The past 20 years have been nuts to say the least. Yeah, but that's always the case. Every generation is gonna have its own trials and tribulations. It it was no less than in the 90s and in the 80s, in the 70s and the 60s and so on and so on. Um, Big Dipper says, the greatest show on earth. He says, you do know that none of them are telling the truth, right? I've actually made that case so many times, Big Dipper. I've said all these politicians lie. That's why I said I find it so humorous that people get so caught up on either Team D or Team R, thinking that their side is telling the truth and the other side isn't. They both lie to their for their own political advantage. They I don't know how people don't see that they use the same types of manipulation on both sides, both with their constituents, with the media. Like I don't see how people don't see that because they're so blinded by worshiping political leaders. Lemire says, "I'm here to troll you," so you won't be doing that. Big Dipper says, "I quit voting in 2008 because they all lied." Well, I took a different stance, Big Dipper. In 2008, I became independent. Like I just said, no, I'm not gonna be part of any. I'm not gonna be affiliated with either major party. Um, I was like, I think both of them are bullshit. And I think the Dems are worse, only because they've been running this little mind game on Black Americans for like the past 50 years since the Lyndon B. Johnson administration, where he himself literally said, "I'm gonna have these niggas voting Democrat for the next 50 years." Mission accomplished. Well, allegedly, he said that. I don't know if he actually said that, but Johnson was not scared to use the N word, so he may have said that. But when he signed that civil rights bill in 1965, he kind of sealed the deal, even though they really haven't done anything for us since 1965, other than little lip service here and there about our problems and yada yada yada, and electing and bringing in a few black people to become prominent parts of the Democratic Party. But as far as what is done for the black community, that's been a mixed bag at best. At best. At worst, haven't done shit. Uh, John says, "Where you from, Big Dog?" I'm from Baltimore. Big Dipper says, "Food by the system." Fish Catcher says, "What's the best state for food in your opinion?" So, guys, again, if you're gonna ask me off-topic questions, drop it in the form of a super chat or a super sticker. But I'll answer this. Um, but you probably won't like the answer. The answer is it probably depends. I can't say. I don't know what your particular taste is. So, for instance, if you like crab cakes, Maryland is the best place to come for that. However, I don't even like seafood. So, outside of eating fin fish, basically regular type of fish, I don't really eat seafood. So, I wouldn't be able to tell you if, the Maryland blue crabs, which they make crab cakes out of, are the best, but everyone in Maryland swears swears that it's the truth. Again, depends. Or if you like subs, then arguably Philly is the best place. You can get a Philly cheesesteak or you can get a hoagie. Um, I don't know, the New York Hero may be equivalent to the hoagie, but I think overall, Philly has the lock on subs. New York has the lock on pizza, hands down. Chicago may disagree, but I'm from Chicago and I'm gonna say I don't care. New York has the lock, I think, on pizza, um, as well as hot dogs. No Diddy. Uh, Texas, I think, may have the lock on chili and maybe barbecue. I don't know. I'm not going to fight it out amongst those in the Southwest because a lot of people will claim they have the best barbecue. But I'm at least going to say Texas probably has the lock on chili. Okay. Um, Boston, would they have what, beans? I don't know. I don't know. A lot of Boston people actually eat beans. I don't, so I can't really say. But yeah, it depends what your particular tastes are, and you go from there. But like if it, for guys, if you're gonna ask me an off-topic question, I appreciate it if you drop it in the form of a super chat or give me a super sticker. Okay. Connie Converses is about democracy. We know they're both doing the most. Is it about democracy or is it just about a bunch of narcissistic politicians wanting the most coveted political position in the land? I don't know. Um, Connie says it's about democracy. On the face of it, sure, but it's really not. They every That's another thing I hate about Democrats, which is another reason that drove me away from them. They've literally said since the 80s that every election is an existential crisis. That every election they say this is the most important election ever. They was like, I know we said that before, but this one really is. They say that every single time. And if you think I'm lying, you can go through the news clips all the way back to the 80s. They've been saying that since the 80s. This is the most important election ever. They're so full of shit. Donald Rizzo says, you damn right, Democratic Party is one of the most corrupt parties right now. They're public enemy number one to the black community. Yeah, they've done nothing for black people since the 1965 Voting Acts bill, like making that into law. They've done nothing. They've elected some black leaders to office. Great. Have they done anything? Have they reparations, prison? It was the Democrats that sent more black people to prison, not the Republicans. I want people to remember that for all the for all the bullshit that black Democrats give to conservative black people. By the way, I'm not a conservative black person. I'm just voting against Democrats this election cycle because I'm tired of the bullshit. I voted for Jim Crow Biden and for um um I was think crooked Hillary in the last two elections. So, and I was for Obama before that. I didn't actually vote for him, but I supported his campaigns because I didn't vote those years at all. Anyway, so the arguments black Democrats have against conservative black people or moderate black people don't really add up anymore if they ever did. Like the Democratic Party has done more harm to the black community than Republicans have. And I'm not lying. Like it was Joe Biden in 1988 that signed the crack bill, which became law, which gave mandatory federal sentencing for any possession of crack cocaine, but did it for no other drug, including not even for cocaine, for powder cocaine, only for crack cocaine because that was the most prominent drug being used in the ghettos at the time, in the black ghettos. And then he comes back again in 1994 and he also co-authored the 1994 crime bill, which sent tens of thousands of black people to prison on minor sentences. He, like, he worked against busing black students to white schools in the late 70s. He worked alongside, like, Strom Thurmond, a fucking white supremacist who had a secret black daughter. He eulogized Robert C. Byrd, a KKK leader, called him a mentor and a friend at the eulogy. He made a bunch of campaign promises in 2020 he didn't keep. He said he was going to absolve students of HBCUs of all student loan debt. Didn't see that shit happen. And that's separate from the other student loan debt he promised to everyone, where he said he was going to, like, reduce it, and then tried to do that through the COVID Relief Act, which anyone would have said that doesn't make sense. You just use the Higher Education Act, which gives you complete powers to do so. But aside from that, no, he made a separate promise to the black community in Georgia, which helped get him elected, saying that he was going to get rid of loan debt for HBCU students, historically black colleges and universities. Uh, he promised to do something on that and on an anti-black crime hate bill. Nothing, crickets. Um, but he said, if you have trouble deciding who to vote for, you ain't black. So, yeah, I'm just so tired of that bullshit. Like I said, they really haven't done anything for us since the 1965 Civil Rights Bill. So, if black Democrats still have a problem with conservative black people or with moderate black people, we don't care. We don't care anymore. Big Dipper says, I wish Americans would stop playing their games. Well, the general electorate, Big Dipper, isn't that bright. This is why politicians can easily manipulate them. Plus, they have people who are trained in just how to manipulate the general population anyway. Not just the pundits. They have people they hire from these think tanks and can't like campaign experts to help them do all the things they do to get people engaged. So it's hard to compete with that unless you. The only way to really to get past all the political brainwashing is honestly just to be unaffiliated with either party so that you can think critically on political issues, um, instead of worrying about who's the most likable candidate, which candidate looks like you, which candidate is from the party that you prefer. Like, vote by issues, vote for your better interests, and then you'll probably be able to see more clearly through some of the rhetoric, the political rhetoric. Also, probably take some lessons in critical thinking skills. It doesn't have to be like a formal class. You can do it online, or you could just buy certain books like How to Think Straight by Anthony Flew, or How to Become a Critical Thinker by Robert Carroll. Um, and another book, Informal Logic. These sorts of things will teach you the skills to address a lot of the bullshit that we hear day in and day out. Connie says, please do your research. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't do YouTube research. I actually have I actually took a political science course. James Day says, "Are you sir?" I almost read that. Mm-mm-mm. Donald says, uh, "Wait, sorry. Let me go back." Big Dipper says, "Nope." Big Dipper says, "We are still fighting for our rights." What rights have we not achieved in 2024? If 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 you're saying we as in black people, because I'm assuming you're referring to black people, right? If I'm mistaken, please correct me right now. But I assume when you say we, that we is identical to black Americans. What rights have we not yet achieved? Have we've had a so-called black person become president, and you know why I say so-called? Same thing that I would say we also had a so-called black female become a vice president. Um, the only thing they haven't become yet is Speaker of the House. But there are no rights with currently that white or other folks enjoy that we don't currently enjoy. Is there still inequality in America? Yes, but that doesn't mean we are still fighting for our rights. That's just BS. That's another thing I hate about activists is that they want to pretend we haven't made any strides. In 2024, we have everything that we need to get ahead. Some of us don't take advantage of those tools. We have education, but for some people, oh, doing well in school is acting white. So um, you have access to everything online. Do people take advantage of it? No, they rather just look up sports stats and stuff about Diddy instead of learning. What I'm curious to know what rights Black people don't currently have in 2024 that other people have. Because I, for the life of me, I don't see what we don't currently have. Now, are we still socioeconomically at a disadvantage? Yes, but to say that we're still fighting for our rights sounds just as stupid as feminists who are still saying they're fighting for women's rights when women have every right that men have in 2024. Plus, they have a slight edge over men. On top of that, they're actually the majority in the population. There's slightly more women in the general population than there are men. So they're not even a minority, which is why I don't know why they get treated like such. They're not a minority by the numbers, and they're not a minority in the sense of ethnicity because they are a biological sex, not a racial ethnic group or ethno racial group, whatever. Big differences don't even answer the trolls. Yeah, I try not to, except when I sometimes I clap back at them. I'll roast them a few times, but for the most part, yeah, I try to ignore them. Every once in a while, I have converted a troll to an actual like follower though. So Big Dipper says bye. Well, adios. Cody D says a Vermont pancake with syrup. Okay, I'll take that one as a possible best food in the world to in the state. I didn't even think of Vermont in that sense, but that's cool. In case you guys are completely lost, that's from a previous question someone asked. Someone asked a random question, what's the best state for food? And I was saying it kind of depends. So Cody sent a Vermont pancake with syrup. Donna Rizzo says, yeah, Jesus is number one. Ava TV says sus. I don't know what you think is sus, but maybe you should use your words better than saying sus, using little gay ass Gen Z words, but calling someone else sus. Everything Gen Z says sounds sus to me. You guys are the most low testosterone generation of any generation since they've been testing it. and you don't know how to use your words effectively because you think if someone uses words that disagree with you, then it's violence. That you need trigger warnings and safe spaces. Cody Cody says also a Montana steak and an Idaho potato. I don't know about Montana steak, Cody, because again, what about Texas with the Angus beef? I think I'm not trying to start anything. I'm just saying I think Texas might have the edge when it comes to beef, as far as steak is concerned. I don't know. I don't know. Donald says it's not about democracy. We are a constitutional republic. Well, we technically it's called a federal republic, but yes, you're right. Um, but a federal republic or constitutional republic is a type of democracy. Democracy is a big umbrella term, which under which many things can fall. Um, but yes, we are a federal republic, which is a type of democracy. Cody says a New Jersey dish of asparagus. Now, no, you completely lost me with that one. Now I think you just trolling when you said New Jersey dish of asparagus. No one pining for some asparagus, and they definitely got not going to New Jersey to get it. And people from Jersey can hate me, but I'm gonna say it. I mean, Jersey does nothing unique. Either either everything they do in North Jersey is basically like New York, or everything in South Jersey is done like Philly. They don't have anything I can think of that is unique, or sui generis of New Jersey as far as food or any other sort of cultural thing is concerned. South Jersey is an offshoot of Philly, and North Jersey is an offshoot of New York. So prove me wrong. Donald says we are not a demo. Oh, well, we already read that. Uh, Cody says so. Get Republican Donald. LOL. I don't get what you mean, but okay. Hans Steinhauer says, "Do you know the secret of African cooking? It's hunger." Not actually true. Um, if you're talking about African cuisine or whatever, they had plenty of access to wildlife and produce for which to make food. Most of them were not starving. The only people who were starving were people who lived in the Sahara. There's not a huge population of people living in the Sahara, other than some Berbers, Arabic people, and Berbers. And they may do. Plus, most of them live close to where they're proximate to water. So uh, the racist joke failed because it only works if you're ignorant of geography and history like you are. Anyway, Cody says can't cook without fire. Well, that's kind of true. But I mean, nowadays we have electrical things. We don't actually need a fire per se. I mean, we can use a microwave. We can use a convection oven. We can use an electric uh, an electric stove. So, but actually cooking over a fireplace is still kind of. I mean not fireplace. I mean like over, like a fire pit or something like that can still be really tasty. Like if you go camping or hiking, um, if you're into uh, if you're into like bushcraft stuff like that. With a name like Heinz Steinhauer, you should really shut the fuck up because you sound like a you sound like a low IQ German hick. Anyway, Donald says, "Me too, brother. I've been a Democrat for 20 years, and I'm voting other party. I'm over it." Yeah, like I said, so the weird thing, Donald, is like even though I've been like a independent since like at least about 2008, I've still voted pretty much Democrat, even though I was independent. I just didn't want to claim the party title because I didn't want to feel beholden to like their ideology nor the affiliation to them. But like 9.9 out of 10 times, I still voted for the Democratic candidate this up until 2022. When the midterms came about in 2022, I, I I just didn't vote at all. I literally had no interest. Like I was by 2022, I was so politically apathetic. I just couldn't care, and I realized that it's because I've been brainwashed into believing all these things that came out of the black community that just is so hooked on the Democratic Party. It's like it's like leaving it's like leaving Plato's cave. I think that's like a really good analogy. It's like walking away from not just the Democratic Party, but walking away from voting blue. Even if you're an independent, like some independents still lean left, some independents lean right. I still lean left. I consider myself a progressive up until last year. So walking away from voting blue or being party affiliated with the Democrats, it's sort of like leaving Plato's cave for a lot of black people. Cody D says stuck on the island, Jamavai. Jamavai. Is that the old? No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the old musician Jamiroquai. Black Power for the People says stop lying. What am I lying about? Anything that I just said as far as Biden back 10 minutes ago can be fact checked. And not only that, you can find them in fact checking sites like Snopes.com. You can find them in left leaning print media, which should which should bolster my view because if it's coming from the same stuff that you choose to read, so you can find this stuff in the Washington Post, the New York Times, the Chicago Sun. I think the Chicago Sun leans left. I'm not sure. Um, USA Today, LA Times. Think first, act second. What's up? He says, "What's good, fam? The most important election is hilarious. Politicians remind me of used car salesmen, women with with better suits, minus the claustrophobic trailer." Right. That's what I'm saying. Think first, act second. You're about. I think you're roughly about my age. Tell me if I'm not lying. Did every presidential election that Democrats didn't say this is the most important election ever? Tell me if they have not said that every single presidential election, this is the most important election ever. They say it every single time. Donald says, "Man's not lying. He's educated." Thank you, Donald. Black Powerful People says Kamala Harris 2024. Well, that's what you're voting for. That's fine, but that doesn't mean I'm lying just because you don't agree with what I say. Like I've I call stuff on both sides. Like when stuff again, I'm an independent and I'm a classical liberal. Classical liberal is different than the American liberals. Classical liberals are considered conservative by today's standards, but back in the 60s, probably even up until the 70s, classical liberals were considered on the left. Now we're considered on the right because the left has has thrown away their values on things like First Amendment and pursuit of reason and um, in favor of things like identity politics and racial victimhood and LGBTQ rights and all this sort of stuff. In any case, back to my point, You can disagree with me, but to say I'm lying is a stretch. It's different. There, there's a difference between disagreeing with someone and saying they're lying. Just because you don't agree with someone doesn't mean they're lying. Like I may disagree with certain things as well, but I'm not going to say someone's lying just because I disagree with those things. Lying implies intentional dishonesty. So I'm not doing that. Black Power for the People says you are a low IQ MAGA nut. First of all, when did I ever say I was MAGA in this whole stream? Not and forget the stream. Go to any of my content since I've been putting stuff out for the last 2 years on YouTube. When have I ever said MAGA? When have I ever? Two, as I've just admitted, as I have done on numerous other streams and in numerous other videos, I voted for Biden in 2020. I voted for Hillary in 2016. I favored Obama in 2008 and in 2012. Even though I didn't vote for him, I supported his campaign. I voted for Curry in 2004. In 2000, again, I didn't vote, but I was actually for the Green Party dude. I forgot his name. The guy they all blamed on Al Gore losing in 2000 because he took votes away from Al Gore. No, he didn't take votes away from Al Gore. These are probably people who wouldn't have voted for Al Gore anyway if there wasn't this third party candidate. But I've literally voted blue all the way up until now. So to call me a MAGA nut, no, I'm not. And to call me low IQ, like I actually have my IQ test that I've taken, the WACE test, which stands for the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale, version 4, down up to version 5, but the last time I took it was up to version 4. My IQ is not low. So for you to throw around ad hominems just shows you don't have a good argument to make. If you had a good argument to make against me, you wouldn't have to throw around ad hominem. So I'm gonna show this I'm gonna show your comment just so that people can see it. Cody says brainwashing exactly. Not Goat says left or right politics are the same. The starting is just I hate you if you are different. Exactly. It's political tribalism. That's literally what this is. It's political tribalism. What I'm telling people is they need to see above that because if they look clearly enough, they will see that the same both parties play the same games. Some one maybe one party plays their game better than the other party, but they both play the same games. Unqualified opinion says Black Steve-O. I can't see it now. I don't see how I look like Steve-O. You talking about Steve-O from Jackass? I don't think I look like Steve-O. I wish I had Steve-O's money, but I don't think I look like Steve-O. Unqualified opinion says maybe, but at the same time, Republicans are trying to take away voting rights, especially in poorer communities. Where are they trying to take away voting rights? So they want some people to have IDs. Here's what I'm going to say. Yes, I know the history of forcing people to have IDs in the past, especially in the poor and both poor urban and rural communities 50, 60 years ago. But in 2024, every adult should have fucking ID. I mean, you need to have ID to do just about anything nowadays. So why wouldn't you need it for to vote? I mean, literally, in most states, if a cop um, questions you and you can't present ID, they have to take you in because they don't know who you are. They have to actually take you in for arrest if you are in a police line of questioning and you can't produce ID. Everyone should have every adult should have ID in 2024. This is not the 60s. Hell, this is not even the 70s, which could still be like a time where you could probably get away with that. By the 80s and beyond, every adult should have some form of ID on them. That's the only tricks I see them playing. And again, Democrats play dirty tricks as well. Like, look at all the redistricting of places within the country, the gerrymandering. Both sides gerrymandered the hell out of their voting districts. I see that as taking away voting people's voting rights, but no one has a problem with that because both sides do it. Shadowban says there's only one group of people that have no protections. Do you know who they are? Um, Tamir Ness says, go on, move on, bro, get a job. You need to find another hobby. It is 10 o'clock at night. What job do you expect me to be doing at 10 o'clock at night that doesn't involve law enforcement, being in a warehouse, or entertainment? Shut the fuck up. And I'm not your motherfucking bro, Tamir. Go suck a fucking dick. Anyway, unqualified opinion says, damn, that's a little harsh. Um, Donald says, I know that's right, man, and I'm talking about the Gen Z. Oh, gotcha. Alfred says they were too lazy to work. That's not true. First of all, let me get to my super chat before anything. Think First Act Second drop 10 bones on me. Thank you, first of all. Think First Act Second, because you show me a lot of support, bro. He says, my problem with those of you in this chat that want to insult this man in the chat, you choose to enter. It's not only tiring, but it makes me question your intelligence and testicular fortitude. Laughing my ass off. Thank you. Like I'm saying, if you have so much of a problem for me, why are you even in my live chat? He makes the perfect point. Like, if you think I'm stupid, if you think I'm uninformed, if you don't like me because of my, my racial background, why are you even here? You could be doing so many other things. Go watch anime. Go play a game. Go talk to your children. They probably need it. Go do some push ups. Um, go have a snack. Like, go to another live stream. Go watch something else on YouTube. Go Netflix and chill. Like, if you if you don't like what I'm saying, why are you still here? Like, you guys literally stay here until I time you out or ban you for getting out of pocket. But like like Obi-Wan said, who's the bigger fool? The the one you call a fool or the one who's following them. So Alfred says blacks need white folks. I don't know what that means, Alfred. What I will say is we all need each other. We grew up, well, we evolved to all get along with each other for the necessity of life. The reason why we have intelligence, the reason why we have human natural language, the reason we have computational thinking processes is because they evolved so that we could have more effective communication amongst each other. Because the way our ancestors survived was working together. But this sort of tribalism, that we have that came from our more primate roots before becoming fully human has always been an impediment to that. And it shows up in so many ways, including in political tribalism, as we see now. Like, people like this in-group bias, which is another way of calling tribalism, is something that is detrimental to society and is played up through these political parties, which are corporate sponsored and pretty much owned by their corporate donor class. Um, the mainstream media, who are pretty much wings of these corporate interests and government interests, sow dissension. Like, as much as you see these people fighting amongst each other on camera, they're not really at each other's necks like that when the cameras go off. Arnold Schwarzenegger said that long time ago, when he was governor of California. Like, you can see it if I think the Arnold bio um, biography is still on Netflix. He said, on the on camera, we fought it out. But he said once the cameras were off, he's like, most of the time we've already like had a deal that we've agreed to, but we had to like fight it out on the camera for our constituents. But we've already usually already hammered out a deal, and we're just waiting to release it to the public. Or look at that dumbass Michael Eric Dyson, who was calling the Republican um, congressional representative Nancy, I think her name's Nancy Mace or whatever. He was trying to say she was a racist without actually using the word racist on this CNN panel. And then behind the scenes, he's taking pictures with her and even trying to even jumping in her DMs, trying to see what's up. And he's a married man at 65 years old who's calling this woman wrong for mispronouncing Kamala's name. I don't even know if I said it correctly. I don't care. But saying because she chooses to say the name incorrectly and all this other stuff, that she's basically a bigot or whatever. But behind the scenes, he's asking her, "Hey, can we take some selfies together?" That he sends the selfie to her and say, "Hey, don't we look great together?" But yeah, but the media will sow dissension when a lot of that dissension isn't even really there. It just looks good for the cameras. Anyway, I know I'm totally went off on a tangent with that, Alfred. I'm just saying that as far as you saying blacks need white folks need black people too. We all need each other because at the end of the day, society only works if we all work together. Um, Venn diagram is what does left leaning mean? So left leaning Venda means like all the different views that fall on the political left, whether you're talking about liberal, progressive, um, socialists, all the way to like anarchists, or you know, or center left. All these things fall on the left. So that's what I mean left leaning. Um, as far as where my position is classical liberal. Again, classical liberals used to be considered on the left, as the left has moved farther to the extreme. Classical liberal is no longer considered on the left. We're either considered on the right, or I would say we're more moderates. When I was talking about classical liberal, I'm talking about in the I'm talking about in the veins of the European Enlightenment. So classical liberals would have been people like John Locke, John Stuart Mill, okay, David Hume, Ben Franklin, um, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, um, Jeremy Bentham, Thomas Hobbes, and so on and so on. Isaiah says, "Be brave and proud." Guys, can you hear that music in the background? Is it too? Is it just right? Is it? Because if so, I can adjust it. I don't want it to be too prominent in the background because I don't want to get copyrighted. At the same time, I do want people to have a hear it a little bit. Gives a little ambiance. Kick Nelly says been here 30 seconds and already boarded the shit by. All right, well, that's fair. If you don't like it, leave. That's what I say. That makes more sense than the troll. If you don't like it, then leave. I'm sure you don't have much of an attention span anyway, to be honest, so who cares? Thing first X second says word fam, I'll be 47 on the 8th. Oh yeah, your birthday was just 1 month after mine. Mine was September 26th. So yours is this October the 8th. That's what's up. He said these elections and the democratic angles toward our people are trash and insult to my and those of the cerebral click intelligence. Word, they it's the same games every election cycle, and that's why I don't understand why people still fall for it every 4 years. Like they play the same tricks, and people fall right in line. Like the Democrats let them believe that this is like some existential crisis for democracy, and it never is or has been. The fact that we have free elections shows that things are working the way they're supposed to work. Yes, I know in 2020 they were talking about, oh well, Trump was going to steal the election and yada yada yada. He really didn't have that power to do so. And we can get into a debate on the finer points of that. I get it, but the point is the fact that we're still having a free election 4 years later after that whole debacle shows things are working more or less as they were intentioned. Now, if you have problems with how things are working, then we have to go take it all the way back to the founding fathers. Donald says, I haven't heard you say a thing about MAGA industry. Yeah, I didn't. That's what I'm saying. I don't know where that person got that from. Some people, so I don't know if the so-called Donald Trump derangement syndrome is real, but what I will say is some people have such a intense dislike for the man. It clouds their better judgment sometimes. So I don't know if that's a derangement syndrome, or is this just how a lot of people are when they think politically and can't think straight. Because I remember the same sort of like intense dislike of Obama back, um, 16 years ago. So it's not unique to one side. But when you have an intense dislike of some political leader or candidate, it can come off as a little deranged sometimes. That, like I said, that happens on both sides. With the right, it happened with Obama. On the left, it's happening with Trump. Thief says this guy looks like War Machine, the black guy from Avengers. Haven't heard that one before. Joe B says you look like Steve Urkel. Okay, well, Jaleel White stays pretty fit for his age. He's like in his 50s, so if I'm still as robust as he is in his 50s, I'll take that. RP20XX says no, you don't. Wrong again. Okay. Krakow says hello, bro. El Chupacabra says a barcode on your neck. Huh? I don't even know what that means, bro. Cena says I had a good day until I saw your face. Well, why don't you have these nuts rotate in your mouth and see how that makes your day go? Danny MD says, how can you take people's voting rights away? In my country, everybody with a citizenship can vote, and I mean everyone. Danny, people are playing games with words because they want to put what they are talking about is that they in some places they want to put extra restrictions on voting, like requiring that people come to the come to the voting to the polls with their ID. Again, if you're a grown effing adult, you should have ID anyway. Again, I get why some people wouldn't have ID back in the 60s and 70s, but in 2024, there's no reason for a grown adult not to have ID unless they are trying to unless they're trying to avoid the law. There's no other reason for a grown adult in 2024 not to have ID they can present when going out. And like I said, as far as restricting votes and stuff like that, both sides play these games. Like I said, look at the gerrymandering both sides do. They will make these Tetris like contortions of voting districts just so it favors their candidate. I think that's I think that's quite unconstitutional. But Sandman 17 says you need some mods, man. I do have mods, but none of them are present. Like my one of them is my wife. She's currently at work. Um, she's in a different time zone right now, so she's currently at work at her bank. Um, my other two mods, well, one is a musician, so I don't know what she's doing right now. Um, and my other mod, he has his own YouTube channel, so he might be currently doing something on his as well. But shout out both to Moonlit Fern uh, and Miss Needles. Jesselyn Erdezuela said hello. What's up, Jesselyn? Dorothy Uchiha 47 says it makes them feel good to insult them behind the screen. It's exciting for them. Yeah, I think many of them are just incels. Like, what's the point in coming here just to insult someone? I mean, you could be doing so much better other things. Like, I would not come to a live stream where I don't enjoy hearing what the person has to say just to insult them. That really doesn't make any sense to me. Like, that's a new phenomenon that I'm not familiar with. Coming to someone's live stream or to their YouTube videos or whatever and just laying it on them, like, that's weird. If I didn't like the stuff, I would just like leave. At least one guy said that. He was like, "Man, I find this boring. Bye." I'm like, "All right, cool. That's what's up." Like, I'd rather you just do that. Say, "Hey, I'm not interested in this, and I'm leaving." Of course, he didn't even have to announce that. Really, he could have just left. JR says we're feeling like we'll never vote for a geriatric felon. If you say so. Grandpa says Dark Uchiha has experience. Look at his name. Damon says, I think we are all the same awareness beneath it all, experiencing life through different bodies and stories. What do you think? No, I don't know what that even means. Kasim says, how old are you, please? I've I literally just said my birthday like a little earlier, bro. Hagen says, any Bigfoot sightings? Not unless you're talking about the Bigfoot Little Caesars pizza, which I mean Pizza Hut pizza. They need to bring back. Do anyone remember the big? Does I know it's completely off topic. Anyone remember the Pizza Hut Bigfoot pizza? I missed it when it came out. I wish they bring it back. I will order one. What this does point out though is that there's a lot of people on social media that need psychological help. Of course, if they're men, I would say the first thing they should do is actually just exercise and work out. I guarantee most of these people who come and troll online wouldn't do so if they weren't physically unfit, which makes them mentally unfit. Most of these trolls are a bunch of fat, chin beard looking weirdos. And I'll stand on that. Sandra says Trump 2024. What's up, Sandra? That's content says relaxing tune. So okay, so you guys can hear it. That's cool. Sandra says, "Can I vote in the Mexican election just because I vacation there?" I don't know. You gotta ask them. I've never been to Mexico. I probably will go just to get the stamp on my passbook, but it's not a place I would plan on staying too long. Sandra says, "I have to have ID at the bank, at the grocery store, the liquor store." Right. Like I said, in 2024, to say that, to complain that some election booths would uh, require having ID is just ridiculous. Sandra says illegals have no constitutional right. Um, yes and no. Like they don't have they don't have right they don't have rights as a US as an American citizen, but people here in America still have certain rights just just by just by virtue of being here. Just like if you're in another country, there are certain rights that you have just by virtue of being there. Otherwise, it would be complete chaos if you could literally treat anyone from outside of your country any way you wanted to. That would that would end up in a gnarly scenario or two. Um, Sandra says you look sweaty. I know. I'm sorry. It's pretty hot in here. My fan. Actually, I could turn on my other fan. So the ceiling fan is off, but if I turn on my other fan, it'll cause too much noise for the video. So I'm just gonna turn it on after I finish the video. Probably. Also, I'm probably sweating because although I did shower like an hour ago, I came from the gym and I, worked out pretty heavily all day. Like I did my road run earlier, then I shadow boxed for about half an hour and stretched. Then I went to the gym. We hit the weights, and then we did more cardio at the gym. Um, and I just ate not too long ago. When you eat, that kind of kicks up your internal heat. So I'm not sweating. I'm glistening. I'm playing. But no, yeah, I am sweating a little bit. I do apologize, but it's kind of hot. That's why I hate Maryland weather. Psychotic Quantum says all trolls have problems. That's why they troll. I will agree with that. I will agree with that because I tried to make I tried to make excuses for them before Psychotic Quantum. I used to say, "Oh well, most of them are just kids, so they're just stupid and not knowing what they're doing." But when my friends pointed out, he's like, "Man, even if they are children, he's like, the fuck, like, why should they? Why would they be doing that?" Like, he said, it just shows that they're not very bright individuals and they probably have issues. He said, because he said, when we were young, we wouldn't do stuff like that. So he has a good point. So yes, I completely agree with you. All trolls have problems just by virtue of the fact that they troll. I completely agree. He said they troll for self-esteem. It's really pathetic. Some do it. Well, I'll say they have different motivations. Some do it for the attention. Some of them do it because they can be they can act they can trash people whom they wouldn't dare do in real life behind the anonymity of a digital screen. Some are begging for like some sort of psychological help. They all need help, but I mean, some of them like have like severe health, like mental health problems. Others are like incels, especially other guys. Well, most trolls are guys, but some of these guys are just straight up incels and find it threatening to see someone on a social media platform that they think needs to be taken down a peg. So Psychotic Quantum says Democrats for Trump. That's what's up. Um, Joe Bananas is Make America Great Again, great my ass. It's a catchy, what whatever, irrespective of whether you think it's accurate or not, you got to admit that it is a catchy slogan. I think you can admit that much, irrespective of whether you think it actually refers to any actual point in history in America. The Either way, it's still a very catchy slogan. Just like just like Obama's slogan. Uh, well, he had two slogans. I think one was "Yes, we can." I think that was his sec. That was his slogan for back in 2012, right? And then in 2008, it was I guess "Change We Can Believe In," something like that. The, Again, irrespective of whether you think these slogans are particularly truthful or not, they're catchy slogans. Trump says a catchy slogan. Like, slogans are meant to be catchy. They're not meant to be they're not meant to be accurate. So, and so far that is a catchy slogan. It works really well because you even have some people on the left who may disagree with Trump using it, but they may agree that they want America to be great again as well, or to be great at all, whatever, however you see it. It's catchy. MJ214 says more like make Trump, his family, and elites richer, give them a tax break. Trump paid zero taxes for years. Meanwhile, we have to pay taxes on 50K a year income. Such he's actually for like tax breaks, bro. So if you care about your, this is one of the reasons why I'm voting for him. If you care about your wallet, he's probably the guy for whom to vote. As far as him paying zero taxes, again, if most of us could get away with that, we would have done it too. Am I supposed to be mad at the man for beating a system that's already fixed? Like, he, if we were in the same position, we would want to pay zero income taxes as well. Um, but not to mention, when he was in office, he gave away all his checks while he was president. Look it up. Psychotic quantum says, "Don't be as ignorant to pose such a question." You can't take people seriously, psychotic quantum. I'm gonna just call you PQ if you don't mind. Tony Anthony says, "I noticed that you never read anything that doesn't support Trump." When have I read anything on here? And I have brought up stuff against him as well. I've pointed out the whole Central Park 5 thing that people harp on. I've I've talked about how he's been accused of housing discrimination. I've brought up the whole thing with the Haitian immigrants, the dogs, and they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people that live there. Whoa, 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 whoa. Meow, 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 meow. But whatever. I bring up stuff, but some of you guys have selective think, like you you select only what you want to hear from me. So I bring up the stuff that people have against him, and then I put my I I put my views on it. Joe Bananas just said he just did, right? MJ214 says Trump is in fantasy land, bro. If he is, okay. What? So was Biden in reality? He decided he was gonna um, reduce the federal student loan debt by using the COVID Relief Act to do so. How did that make sense when there's literally the Higher Education Act that's been around for like 40 plus years that he could have just made executive decisions to get rid of any, including all student loan debt if he chose to do so. And the fact, because I saw what you brought up about the Mexican wall and all that sort of stuff, I just didn't choose to show the message to everyone else. But if that was so unrealistic, then why has Biden tacitly started to use um, Trump's own views on the border crisis, as far as maybe saying that we should build a wall and all this other sort of stuff? Like, we can disagree with people without claiming they are deluded. Joe Manana says, I know, right? MJ214 says, so just because he's in position to pay $0 in taxes, income taxes, that is, it makes it okay for him to do so? You got to be kidding me, bro. What I'm saying is, what I said, again, you're giving me a straw man, you're making a straw man claim of what I said. What I said was, most of us, if we were in that position to pay 0% income taxes, we would do so as well. So I'm not going to be mad at him for finding a way to do so that most of us are envious of. A lot of us claim, I notice sometimes a lot of us claim things are wrong when what we're really claiming is we're mad that we couldn't do it ourselves. Um, MJ214 says, so it's okay for him to have 34 felonies and be president. Meanwhile, I can't get a job for one misdemeanor. That's your fucking fault. Honestly, that's your fucking fault. This is why you're mad. You're mad again. You're mad out of envy. You're not mad because what he did was wrong. You're mad out of envy. Like, oh well, he can get away with 34 felonies, but now my job, my ability to find jobs is hindered because of my misdemeanor. Dude, that's your fault. And yes, there's a two-tier justice system. We've known that. Look, if you know that the system is rigged, right? If you know that the system is rigged, why put yourself in a position to be caught up in the justice system knowing that you're going to get the raw deal? There's a two-tier justice system, one for the wealthy and one for everyone else. The wealthy elite get treated differently in the justice system than we do. We know this already going in, so that should make us more mindful to not get caught up in that system. His 34 felonies, I don't know what your misdemeanor is. Please don't tell me. We don't need to discuss your history here. But his 34 felonies had to do with like paying off a porn star and lying about it and using some of his campaign money to do so, whatever, whatever. Like, I don't care. What I do care is that he didn't get us engaged in any new wars. I care that um, the economy was going rather well for under him up until COVID. Those are the things I care about. But as I've stated in the previous stream 2 days ago, and in many other streams, my YouTube shorts, and in my pre-recorded long-form videos, every president has been a criminal. This is why they've always enjoyed partial immunity while in office, because they've all committed crimes while they're in office. Obama had a secret drone war he was doing through places like Somalia and Yemen and the Sudan and other places in the Middle East, killing thousands of people, including about 300 civilians. He okayed black op. Uh, he okayed some black ops that even George Bush felt said he would not permit. And this came out of the Washington Post. This didn't come out of some right leaning newspaper like the Washington. This didn't come out of something like the Wall Street Journal. It didn't come out of Fox News. It didn't come out of um, Newsmax. Well, Newsmax didn't exist back then, but it didn't come from any of those sorts of sources. It came out of the Washington Post. Hell, all the way back down to the very first president, George Washington himself was a criminal. Dude acquired land that he stole after the French and Indian Wars. He owned and sold slaves. He broke a Pennsylvania law on slavery that said that slaves must be freed after X amount of years by simply removing those slaves and putting them on property on another land, restarting the time on it on the time that they could be released. He was actively like a real estate mogul while he was in office. Definite conflict of interest. Sounds familiar? um, I could don't let me start about so-called honest Abe and how he flooded the polls with his own people to make sure they voted for him, or how he suspended what habeas corpus and locked up people under martial law for anyone to disagree with the Civil War, merely speaking out against it, and so on and so on and so on and so on. Every president has been a criminal. This is why they all enjoy partial immunity to keep them from being convicted of those crimes for which they commit while in office, not to mention to keep their political opponents from using their crimes against them to have a back and a constant back and forth about who's the bigger criminal. Joe Biden says, and he's going to court after the election, so if he wins, then he could just pardon himself. Possibly, but because the Supreme Court decided that some of those previous things for which he was convicted or charged with, well, yeah, some of the things he was convicted with and some of the things he was charged with no longer hold because of his immunity, um, it's a lot less likely that he's going to be facing any sort of um, serious punishment as a result. As far as he pardoned himself, this will be an exercise, and this would be new. This will be one for the history books because we've never seen a president actually pardon himself. So there is an active debate whether a president can actually do so or not. If he decides to do so, this is immediately going to go to the Supreme Court because this is going to have to be contested. Because there are some people who say that the president can do so, and others who say he can't. But it's actually never been tested in American history before. Joe Biden says, "Great job, American police." Not. Brett says, "Why do you like politics?" I guess because it involves all of whether we like politics or not, it involves all of us. I guess so. But actually, I don't like politics, Brett. I was saying at least since 2022, I've been really apathetic about politics. And my whole topic today is was saying is everyone tired of the election cycle right now because it's kicked into third gear, and I think everyone's just annoyed. My grandmother just earlier today said I was watching a YouTube clip while I was cooking, and she saw the clip come on where the campaign for Larry Hogan, the former governor of Maryland, who's now running for U.S. Senate in Maryland, had put out um, a political ad against his rival Angela also Brooks. And my grandmother was like, "I'm so tired of this election stuff." She said, "I can't." She said, "I'll be glad when it ends." And I couldn't agree with her more. She and I obviously are voting differently. She already did her mail-in vote last week, I'm just gonna do early voting at the booths because I told her I prefer to go to the booths because I know my vote will actually be counted at the booths, whereas mail-in votes is sort of a after mail-in votes is sort of an afterthought in many states. They're sort of an afterthought. The but to go to do early voting, I think that weighs more heavily. I'll do the mail-in votes when I'm back overseas because that's the only way I can. But while I'm here in the states, I'm going to choose early voting. But yeah, I don't really like politics. It's just that I realize whether I'm whether I like politics or not, it's still gonna it, politics still will control many facets of my life, at least on the local level. Um, Philanthropist says, "Hello, man. How you doing? I'm doing well, philanthropist. What's going on? I think my the next So I'm hoping to do some good stuff this week, some more fun topics this weekend for you guys. But I also want to do another philosophy one. I'm because I think that gets people engaged sometimes, and I like to be nerdy and not think about politics and current events all the time. Joe Bananas says people are going crazy. He's going to be this generation's Hitler. That's a stretch. You know, there's a law. I don't know if it's a law, sort of a observation and communication that that an argument has soured once people bring up either Hitler or Nazis. And it's kind of true. Like once people, like every time people like have vehement disagreements online, there's only like a matter of time until the whole uh, association with Nazis, Hitler, or fascism is brought up, and it shows when a argument has kind of reached its it not that the argument's reached its conclusion, but it shows that whoever brought it up really has not much to say against the other side without bringing that up. Like once they get to that, it's like kind of tired. What else they could say against that other group? MJ214 says not about being mad, bro. It's about same law doesn't apply. How is that my fault? So in your eyes, Jeffrey Epstein Island is okay as long as you can do it and got the money. Again, where you keep coming up with these straw man arguments, I've said nothing of the sort. You said, how is that my fault? If you committed a crime, that is your fault by definition. Unless someone literally made you do it beyond your like beyond your control, yes, it is your fault. Just like whatever the former president did, it would be his fault. My point is we know that there's a two-tier justice system. We know that it works better for some people than for others. Knowing that we have a two-tier justice system, knowing that we're on the side that we're going to get the raw end of the deal, that's more that makes it more important for us to avoid getting caught up in that situation in the first place. So yes, that would be your fault. Just like it would be his fault if he was on the other end as well. It's just that he wasn't. That's all I'm saying. But no, I'm not. That doesn't mean that I'm saying it's okay for a powerful person to do heinous things. I'm not saying it at all. I've never said that. I mean, when I've attacked Diddy in previous streams, people said I'm racist for attacking him and not attacking Epstein. I'm like, that's irrelevant. Like, that's a different person, a different topic. I'm talking about this person. So, in that same regards, I'm talking about these candidates. I'm not talking about Jeffrey Epstein and what he did do on his island. And I'm not saying that just being in a powerful position makes it okay for you to do wrong things. That's not what I'm saying. You completely missed the point. The point is knowing that we have a two-tier justice system and that if you do something wrong, you're going to be punished more severely than the people on the privileged side of the justice system. That gives you more reason not to do anything to break the law because you know you're going to be dealt more severely than they would be. That's what I'm saying. I'm not justifying them doing anything wrong. Philanthropist says Kamala says she's going to fix the border, yet they've been 3.5 years and haven't done shit about it. Exactly. Now she's going to fix something that she and her boss could have done before. Chosen one says Harris will never win. Oh, I can't. Unfortunately, I can't say she will never win because she's like statistically neck to neck with Trump right now, at least according to the polls. But the polls can be quite inaccurate. But statistically, they're in a dead heat right now. Whereas if Trump was still running against Biden, he had a decisive advantage against him. Chris Reed says, "How you doing tonight, sir?" I'm doing well, Chris. What's going on, man? Philanthropist says his conviction was a political persecution by George Soros, the destroyer of humanity, and his son Alexander Soros, creator of wokeism. That's a huge stretch. Now, now has Trump faced some political persecution? Absolutely, but I really can't say that this comes as a result from George Soros or from his son, whom I didn't even know about until just now. Joe Bonanza says just moved to Australia. You don't have to pay taxes, and it's mandatory to vote. Yeah, so in other countries, that you actually have to opt out of voting. Here, we have to opt in. Other westernized nations, that you have to opt out. I think that would be a better thing if we did that here. Is actually we had to opt out instead of opting in. That would have a give us a bigger voter turnout potentially. Also, again, I brought up something very radical a few days ago, which I said is if we wanted a quick fix to the fuckery that is our political system, we could adopt an idea from ancient Greece during the classical period of Greece from like 300 BCE to 500 BCE. I'm sorry, from 500 BCE to 300 BCE, which was they had a lottery system for how they elected officials. And I know some people be like, well, what about unqualified people? Well, we still deal with that right now. Besides, people would see it then as their civic duty to hold office, not as just a position to come off and make money and get in get into the public sector, and you know it would be seen as a civic duty like becoming a juror. And the fact that anyone who's a citizen could be appointed would put more it would give more it, it would be seen the our leaders would be seen in a different light, and they would be truly more representative of us, since we're supposed to have a representative democracy, and we would actually have a representative democracy if we had this a radical system like a lottery that for how we chose our elected officials. But that's me just swinging the bat at at, at, at different sorts of ideas. I have no I have no like belief that that will ever happen in today's political climate. Keith Mill says, "What will you do if the grid shuts down?" Well, I have a bug out bag, um, so the grid shuts down. I'll make my way to the I'll make my way to the well, I'll probably make my way to the airport and get out of here. Or if I have to make my way to the to the docks and get on the boat, same thing. I have a passport, so that's my solution to the power grid. Mm. Philanthropist says you're a smart man. You're well spoken. I respect that. Appreciate it, philanthropist. He says me and that guy Samuel, two sides of the coin. Toke no Joe Harris is going to finish the 16-year plan. I don't even know what that means. Uh, Keith says grid shut down, hunt, fish, grow. Please, people, keep this on your mind. Plus, even if the grid does go down, that doesn't mean all electricity is done. There'll still be some forms of electricity we can use. And I mean, you can get a backup generator. Like at this point, I plan on getting a solar generator for my home overseas, just because I would prefer that over a propane generator. I don't want to store propane in my house for a propane backup generator. Much prefer a solar. Key says you'll need water filtration and some sort of solar. Definitely sounds like someone who's probably a survivalist, maybe into bushcraft. Um, Ping Pong says, there any Wendy's nearby? Actually, yeah, there is. There's one up the street from me. Then there's another one down not too far as well. I actually plan on going because I'm kind of tempted to see what the Wendy's new Krabby Patty meal is like. Philanthropist says, I'm going to have dinner, take care of humans. All right, philanthropist. See you later, man. He says, brother, the grid shuts down. There's no water, there's no AC, there's no microwave. This is a real possibility. Yeah, but just because you have to you have to separate possibility from probability, Keith. Just because something is genuinely possible doesn't mean it's very likely. Okay, and I'm guessing you mean the entire U.S. grid. I don't know, but again, just because the grid goes down doesn't mean there aren't other alternate forms of power. On top of that, like Texas has its own grid system, separate from the interstate grid. Um, you seem like you're one of those people who covet some sort of SHTF scenario when they're not likely to happen. Yes, they're genuine possibilities, but are they likely? I don't know. This is why we have cybersecurity. This is why we have Space Force. This is why we have the NSA. This is why we have Cyber Command. We have over 18 national intelligence agencies in the IC and the intelligence community that deals with these sort of scenarios and issues. I'm not I'm not expecting some sort of Red Dawn scenario to happen. I'm sorry. If that's your own little kink, I get it. But yes, I have a bug out bag. Yes, and I'm a veteran. I know how to get around. I don't. I plan on using my passport and get the hell out of Dodge. You're saying there's no water without the grid. Water existed prior to the grid, and it will exist after the grid. You just have to find ways of having potable water, such as boiling it or using water water purification tablets or using other homemade methods of purifying water. but most of us live close to a water source of some sort. So I don't pine on doomsday scenarios. Robin Seplet says hello. What's up, Robin? Keith Miller says get boats first. Planes won't be going. Yes, they will. Planes don't. Planes work on fuel. They don't need. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Robin says I'm from Russia. That's cool. What's going on out there? What part of Russia? BSK is back. He says, "What's up? What's going on?" Keith Miller says solar generations is an awesome idea. What are the alternate forms? Well, again, you're talking about alternate current and direct current, right? Those are the, we don't need to tap into the grid for everything when it comes to electrical supplies. Again, people have generators, people have these so-called green, what do you call it? The green alt. Sorry, my words elude me here. The what do you call the all the little green sources of energy nowadays? So and like there's been places where the grid has gone down. They still had some forms of power. Like you can have battery powered stuff, solar powered stuff, you know, propane. So BSK says water is key pumped by electrical power. Yeah, but he's yeah, that's but I'm not talking about that. Yes, that would be cut off, but I'm talking about just like going direct to the source. Springs, creeks, lakes, rivers, whatever. Or buying those investing in those filtration systems that can convert um, saline water into fresh water, like we had in the army. Anyway, I want to get back to this subject because it's going to divert it too much. But Keith Miller says, I've just seen this stuff everywhere lately. Captain and uh, Keith Miller says planes also work on airports. So you haven't seen the small private airplanes. Gus says, "Hey nephew." Corrupt says, "What's up?" But I think the word he's trying to use isn't the one he. I get it. So he's gonna go night night. Again, some of these trolls don't even realize like my moderators put me on to let me know how some of you just jump from live stream to live stream, just causing chaos and being just incels that just want to disrupt stuff. I think some of you really need to get some fucking physical fitness so it can get the bitch out of you. Because as I've argued in a previous stream where I defended toxic masculinity, I was saying that a lot of these trolls are actually being effeminate, like coming onto a person's live stream or their videos to leave nasty comments and stuff like that is very feminine behavior. It's a type of feminine social violence. So some of you should just, some of these trolls really need to do some push-ups and get the bitch out of them. But oh, so it's 150. It's been an hour 50 in the stream so far. So guys, again, if you want to leave something off topic, you can leave it in the form of a super chat or a super sticker, or you can even go to the link in my description and send me a Cash App if you want, or Venmo. I have both of them up there. Or you can buy me a coffee that helps me stay awake so I can do these streams. uh, if you're watching this on replay, you can send me a super thanks, which is similar to the super chat and super stickers. Or, I mean, you can just subscribe and hit the like button at the very least. That helps me out, helps me grow the channel through the algorithm, shows the people actually watching and commenting and liking and stuff like that. When you get more engagement, um, the algorithm invests more of its energy to spread your content across the across the uh, across the platform. So even if you don't have a cent to give, you can like and subscribe. You can also share the videos with others. Hit the bell for notifications when I have upcoming content, stuff like that. But if you want to say stuff off topic, then again, either leave it in the form of a super sticker or super chat, or you can wait until the day when I say ask me anything. I have a day. I do it either once or twice a week, every week, where I say ask me anything, and then people can ask me random questions. So for all the people who just want to probe like my thoughts on random things, I always have an ask me anything day where people can ask me random stuff. But when I do a specific topic, I would prefer that people stick generally to that topic. BSK just dropped some stuff for me. Thank you, BSK. Appreciate it, bro. Grandma Daisy says, "Lucky you, you look like a wrestler. Look like the wrestler Virgil." Thank you. People, they don't even know. They don't even remember who Virgil is. Grandma Daisy. They don't remember Virgil. They don't remember Virgil. And again, thank you for the super chat. BSK, thank you for the super sticker as well. Thank you both. Perez, all right, let me get into what Perez says. He's saying women ruin my dreams and I will ruin theirs by creating a virus. Dude, you sound like you about to enter your supervillain stage right now. You need to chill. When you said you do work out, that's good. It's obviously not doing you very good if you still like worrying about catching. Look, instead of trying to get back at the women who did you wrong, bro, why don't you aim at getting at girls who will like you and get some snatch? You know what I'm saying? Nothing, no, nothing better to clear your mind of women who did you wrong than getting with a girl who does you right. Seriously, don't concentrate on girls. Look, we all have had sour experiences with the opposite sex. We all have. But if we let that, if we just ruminate on that, you're never gonna get ahead and enjoy life. Like, don't worry about that. Like, I've had so much, but if I couldn't get past that, I wouldn't currently be with Mrs. Contrarian, who's the love of my life. You move beyond that instead of trying to work, instead of trying to come up with some um super villain scenario to hurt women. Why don't you put that effort into finding someone who likes you? You know what I'm saying? You say you work out. Maybe you see a woman at the gym, holler at her. Not while she's doing her set. After, not while she's doing her set though. Like after she does her set, like, hey, my name is Perez or whatever your name is in real life, right? Like, I just saw you working out. Just wondering, maybe like to get a bite to eat one day, blah blah blah. Yes, you're gonna get a lot of rejections, but you gotta shoot your shot. Like you only miss the, you only you'll always miss the shots you don't take, right? So instead of worrying about people who did you wrong, women who did you wrong, start looking at women who might like you. Get your social game up. Learn how to talk with 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 women. But this whole supervillain thing you concocting, that's not the way to go, bro. BSK says a 22 Magnum low recoil superstar. You familiar? 22 Magnum? Uh-uh. I was just watching something the other day about like different like guns that's good for like concealed carry and stuff like that on I think it was either on the Honest Outlaw YouTube channel. Shout out to them. If they ever see me, hey, what's up? Or in on the US, and then there was something on the USCCA YouTube channel. And it was something. It was some type of Magnum, but I don't remember what kind. Keith says your topic isn't in description or anything, so it's not like when I joined, I knew the topic. Also, I think it live calls for a bit of improv. Stay safe, all love. No, if I have a given topic, I stay within the confines of that topic. And again, when you click on it, there's a headline, and there's even a picture that clues you into it. The topic from because I did that before this live even started. I have to choose a like something to call the live, and it says, you know, as the election has kicked into third gear, are we tied? Are we tied of the election cycle? Revolution says you are on live for validation. I think you're projecting, my friend. You're commenting on my live for validation. BSK says Snatch, good movie. That's not the Snatch I was talking about, but yeah. It was okay. But if you're talking about the actual movie, yeah, it was okay. Revolution's gonna time out. He sounds like a fucking idiot. Uh, he says it's a great movie, Third Gear, etc. Yeah. So how is it a guy gonna say I'm on a live stream for validation, but he's commenting on the live stream for the validation of hearing his comment be heard and seen? Man, these people aren't very bright. Anyway, I think at the 2 hour mark, I'm probably gonna dip. Um, Plus, I want to turn on my fan. It's hot. I didn't think it would get this hot on a September day, but maybe it's because the ceiling fan isn't on. I'm gonna check the temperature after I get off though, because it might be warmer than what I expected it to be. Because I feel like it's in the 70s, and all the heat rises in the house. Whereas in the basement or the first, well, it's not really the basement; it's the first floor. Like all the cool air settles. You see why you chose third gear, 5 speed? Seriously? No, no, no. Like I just meant it. I meant the in the idiom of third gear, like like the election cycles kicked into third gear, like meaning like it's at a more rapid pace than it was before. Now that we're in October, that's all I meant when I said kicked into third gear. I didn't want people to take it to like I want people to take it too on the nose, like I'm actually referring to like the different gears on a car. Just third gear is just a common idiom for when something kicks into a rapid pace. That's all. That's all I meant. Keith says, "Good luck, brother. I'm about to crash out for the night." I feel you. That's what I'm about to do. Well, I'm about to hit up wifey, and then after I check on her and all that good stuff, I'm gonna go to bed myself. But I appreciate the debate with you guys. And it was like I like it when we can debate without insulting each other. I hate it when like I'm actually having like a good debate with someone, and then they seem to just get frustrated and they start lobbing ad hominems at me. And it was like, dude, like we were having a good conversation, and then like you just mess it up with like insults. So I appreciate it if I can like disagree a lot with someone and they with me, and we can still have like a fundamental respect for each other. So that's what's up. BSK says I like afterburner in a relay race. Yeah, I guess you could say it like that. Yeah, it's just I guess it's like a old term idiom, like, oh, things really kicking into third gear now. Like that's just a old, maybe that's just an old timey saying. Keith Miller says, I agreed. I love the civility debate. That's what's up. Like I said, I, it's sad that people can't really do that often anymore. But like coming from my academic background, like in in philosophy, almost everyone disagrees with each other, but at the end of the day, they're still friends because because it's one thing to like have these spirited arguments with each other, but it's another thing to dislike the person just because you disagree with them. And it's like you don't have to dislike someone just because you disagree with them. Now, if you think you if you think the reason of your disagreement is something of such import that it makes that person unlikable, like you're talking about uh, like crimes or sins or stuff like that, like you're debating the merits of wrongdoing or not. I get that, but outside of that, it's it's very rarely the case that you have to dislike someone just because you disagree with them. But in in politics, things get so heated. That's why I said political tribalism kind of undoes the civility that that makes for like social progress. But in any case, guys, I appreciate it. Talk with you guys again tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm probably gonna have some sort of like nerdy topic. Like Fridays and Saturdays, I like to do like lighthearted things. Hopefully, my wife will be joining us maybe Saturday, and I might have a guest Saturday and Sunday as well. So we'll see about those. And I have some other videos coming up as well. BSK says peace. Good night. Thank you, BSK. Again, thank you for the super sticker, man. Thank Grandma Daisy for her super chat, and thank First Act Second for his super chat. Appreciate it, guys. Anyway, I'm out. Take care.